Hello, welcome along to another review. This one is for the book, which is sold by Windsock Data Files. The FE2B Flies Again. This is a book that shows the history, shows the real plane being rebuilt, gives you a breakdown of its uses, the difference that it was used it for, and the different variations they did. So if you've got this Wingnuts kit or any other kit of the FE2, this looks to be a very good book to buy to help you along with building. These Wingnut kits, although they do have a lot of information in the instructions, any added detail is always helpful when building things. So let's get inside and have a look at the book. Okay, so let's start on the outside. I would call this a book, but this isn't a hugely thick book. More like a bookazine, like the weathering type magazines. Outside's a lovely glossy print. Shows you on the front a real FE2 flying with a German biplane in the background. Lovely picture. Very, very nice. Back cover is a FE2 flying again over a river just on its own that time. Gives you a small description of the FE2 and the book is on the back. What's really nice, printed down the bottom, printed in Great Britain. I like that. I do like that. So let's start out. We get a small piece at the front by the author, which is quite nice. I haven't read this in total myself. I've only just received this today. So I'm going to go through and show you what's in the book and give an idea of what you get in for your money. Regarding the history and what's actually written in the book, I am no expert, and I'm quite sure the people who make this are, so I'm definitely going to rely on the fact that what they have written is correct. So start out, FE2B in the Great War. So this is the small history of the airplane's use within the First World War. You get a nice 2 black and white pictures. All the pictures have a small description on them, as well as the text inside the pages. So combats in the air. This section lists out all the different aircrafts and what they were used for at different times. So say again, each picture shows a different plane at a different point. It gives you the number for the picture. It explains what this plane was, and this one actually corresponds, the number on the picture corresponds with the plane and actually gives you a description of that age. So if you're building this kit, you can find this kit's numbers in the book, you can find out its history. Or if you want to do a specific plane from the book, you've got the information here, so you can then put it onto the said kit, which is very nice. It's nice to tie your builds up with history. I'm not a person that would heavily be, it's got to be 100% exact to what you see in the picture, but to be able to build the markings and give the essence of a small piece of history while you build, I think that's quite nice to join the two up. Let's carry on through the book. A lot more description of the usage, a few more black and white photos. Creatures of the Night, that explains a small bit about the usage of the FE2. It went from being a great day bomber slash fighter to a night bomber. So it did have 2 multi-roles during its life. This section in the yellow, this is Fee from the Cockpit 1916. This is passages of actual people who have flown or been in the planes. And they've put these in the book so you can actually read a small piece about how they found the flight, how they found the usage of this plane. It's a very nice piece to have added in there. Quite a nice large section as well. Home establishment. This is about the plane being used back in Britain as a training aircraft. It had been used as a two-in-one, either as a bomber, it could be used as a spotter, a navigation aid. It could have been used as multi-role, as it had 2 seats. One was the rear, one was the pilot, and the front one was a gunner, aimer, bomber. He had a multi-role in the front end. Again, lots more very nice, clear. Let me bring out some of these pictures there. Very nice, clear pictures of the real aircraft from them being used. This one's quite an interesting one. 356. This V had a somewhat convoluted history, starting life as a Rolls-Royce powered FE2B built by Bolton and Paul under contract. It was recorded as a presentation machine on 18th of January 1917, bearing the inscription Ceylon and number 4 Flying Fox under the cockpits. Initially it went to France, number 20 Squadron, before returning to the UK during the summer. It was flown briefly on home defence duties based North Lincolnshire. Very interesting. Okay, very nice pictures, very nice indeed. Keep going through. Got a nice picture there of it in a being out in the winter in England during 1917. So if you want a bit of put it on a base, a bit of something different out in the snow. So that's quite a nice way to display it. Some lovely pictures here of the pilots and the gunners, the unsung heroes. Nice little bit about them. See the leather jackets, the hoods and the gloves these guys would have had to wear, open cockpits, flying all weather. That's a brave role to be up there. This one's quite interesting here. This is a conversion to have the pilots have 2 machine guns. So as well as flying, he had to fire the 2 machine guns, which is a interesting concept. How he would have been able to do that, I'm not too sure. Ordnance survey. So this is all about the different armament for the plane. This is about the guns, different types of machine guns it used, different types of mountings it used as well. So see there, it's got had 2 machine guns into the front section. The rear one was on a mount, so they could be over the top of the pilot firing back, and then the front one was on another little pivot, so then they could fire the aircraft coming from underneath or down below, or even down to the ground if you wanted to. Bombs. This is what it did carry bombs, not a huge amount, but it did carry them. Was able to drop some, and the different types it could carry there and there. And then it shows you nice original schematics of the bombs and the bombs racks. So there's a bomb rack, there's a 28-pound bomb carrier, there's a couple of different types of bombs they had used at the time. Different bombs again. And this section's quite interesting. This is the spoils of war. Now, a lot of these planes, I've got the exact number, 212 FE2s have been lost directly to enemy action, and a further 132 to accidents and other factors. So there was quite a lot of these planes up in the sky flying around at the time, and quite a few got lost behind enemy lines. So the Germans had their cameramen around, and they took a lot of photos of these captured planes, and they really quite impressed. Well, maybe they were impressed, maybe they were just wondering why, because the FE2 was a very unconventional design. It was a pusher airplane. This wasn't a conventional fuselage, engine in the front, two wings on a biplane sort of set out. It was very weird. It was just something very unusual, and it worked well. This was from near 1916 to 1918. So in the years of the war, this was actually quite a well-used aircraft for its time. I say lots of good photos. Have a quick flick through there. Some very nice photos of them being well studied by the Germans. They were really quite interested with this one. What's quite nice is there's pictures further on back in the book, and one of them was the Scotch Express, and it showed an English guy with his machine gun, and there it is with a load of Germans crawling all over it. So it does show you this shows you a bit of the history there, that the British had them and then the Germans found them. Lots more captured ones again. Lovely picture of a real-time engine in the back, and that had just a single blade, twin-bladed prop. Very nice picture there. What's quite nice in the middle of the book is they've got a couple of colour photo prints. I'll quickly skip the middle page so you can see. So they've got some colour photo printed. Sorry, not colour photo, colour artwork printed in the middle. But what is nice is the colour print picture in the centre, and that is absolutely lovely. And I'll be very tempted to try and take this out, but I really like my books and I like to keep them nice. I don't like to push the spines down and fold the pages around, so I'm just going to have to leave that in there and just open it up now and again and have a look at it, because that's just such a beautiful picture. These aircraft are based down in New Zealand. They've been reverse engineered from ones that are in museums, and they've used original drawings. We'll get into that a bit later on in the book. So absolutely beautiful. Again, we're back on with the captured pictures there, going through, showing some really good shots of them there, showing the rigging, because this plane is all about the rigging. This is one of I would say the hardest of the wingnut ones for rigging. It's probably the most fragile. It's the most heaviest rigging you're going to do if you're ever going to build one of these. So yeah, it's to have the more information and the more you can have to look at, the better. So now the last section's building the TVAL FE2Bs. Now it shows two there. This was produced, these were two re-engineered FE2s down in New Zealand. If you're lucky enough to be down in that part of the world, I know a few of the ISM guys are, you'll be lucky enough to actually go out and see these flying, which would be an absolute treat to see these guys flying. So it shows you some of the vintage aviators schematics here for the parts they would have been producing. Tells you a bit about how they went about reproducing them. It shows here the three guys that made these absolutely amazing aircraft. Got chief pilot, manager, and then it goes into showing you how they made them. So you can see their workshop full of all that lovely wood, them hands carving them down, making the frames, making the front nose out of layers of veneer, which I've really got to look into on this section. So the wood, showing the wood on there, showing the grain that shows up on these. That's one point when you're doing these. The wood grain's quite an important part. So you to have these pictures and to see what it actually really looked like. And some parts are very faint grain, and then some parts are extremely strong grain. So it's good to have the mix. Yeah, so the front nose cone here shows veneer wood, but a lot of the pictures in here of the real aircraft actually had what showed to be a dented nose and had to be damaged. So I had to double check to see if it was a veneered piece that had been damaged, or whether some of them had a metal nose. That's some of my research I'm going to be doing. Here's some of the CNC routed parts. Lucky enough, nowadays we have CNC routers. Back in those days, that would have been women or men in a factory carving these out and producing them. And there's the wing ribs. Absolutely beautiful. You should get that in shot properly. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. More of the construction. All the parts being slowly produced and put into racks. How the wood's actually made and split apart there. Just absolutely fabulous pictures of it without the skin on. They do look quite amazing without the skin. This goes into showing all the connections and the pulleys and the strengthening struts and all the little different pieces of metal that connected up all the wood. These are quite important parts when you're actually building this kit, so make sure you try and get these as accurate as you can. Some of the pulleys open on the wings, a wing with its skin and its markings on. The engine, which that is going to be an interesting piece to make on the kit, with that pattern on the copper jackets over the pistons. That's going to be, I think it's going to be enjoyable. The tricycle wheels, you can see actually it's quite a size. See the little man sitting on the top, he's not a little man. It's quite big on there. So putting the pieces together. Quite interesting, this picture at the bottom here. There's an SE5 in the background, and that looks fairly small compared to what they do. And they've got the main nacelle and the engine joined. Got the radiator behind them there. This is where they're building two of them, one stripped down and one with the canvas over the wings. There's the man getting it ready for its flights. And there it is from the cockpit, 93 years on from when it was first made to this new one was made. That lovely picture of the prop there showing the wood grain on it, absolutely beautiful. Got some lovely pictures of it actually being flown. Some more veneered shots from the cockpit. Guy priming the engine, ready for a flight. Some more lovely pictures of the back. Two guys saluting at the end, and that's the book. Got a very small little bit at the back. Appendices. Jargon buster. I'll just have a read a couple of these. There's really quite good ones in here. Cold meat, easy target, sitting duck. Eggs, RFC slang for bombs, also pills. There you go. OOC, out of control. I'm sure a few of us know that sort of feeling. So there's quite a few nice little bit of information on there. Gives you information on the plane, jargon busters, selected biographies, variations of theme, FE2C, FE2D, FE2H, squadrons in service in France, home squadrons, and then your last acknowledgements, and a couple more lovely colour pictures at the back, and that's the book done. Absolutely wonderful. Now, at Windsock Data Files, I purchased this for £20 plus post, which I think for what you get in there, that's a good price. It does say on their website, very few left. So that's why I grabbed this one. There are a few different other versions that they've got you can buy on the FE2. There's Windsock Data Files copy 134, which is 32 pages, and that's £10.84. Then you've got this copy, which is 68 pages, and then that's £20. Now they've also got some Windsock Data Files, numbers 18 and 147. Now these are £40. I'd like to know what the difference is and what you get in there, but £40 on a book right now, I'm not able to purchase. So I think for the £20 I paid for this one, very, very much worth the money if you're looking at doing any of these Wing Up Wings kits. I'm going to be looking at getting some more of their different ones. I've also got to be reviewed the build on the AEG German bomber, and that will hopefully be done in the next couple of days. I hope you enjoyed the review. Please leave any comments. Thank you. Goodbye.